Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The wait for 9.1 was so long that it seems inconceivable that 9.15 could almost be upon us. And we already have some reports of what we can expect, and so far, so good. So let's get into this. Now, our current renown level of 80 will be hit around the 19th of October in the US and the 20th of October EU. So we can expect 9.15 to arrive shortly after that, which means that the PTR for 9.15 is imminent. Now keep in mind 9.15 will be a mini patch. It's not one of the big ones, it's not like a 9.1. We're not expecting new zones or anything big and fancy. No huge shifts in the systems. These mini patches tend to be focused around catch-up, tweaks, alts, side activities, which, to be fair, right now is, in my humble opinion, exactly what WoW needs. Now, if we take a look at some examples from BFA, 8.15 gave us Allied Races. Don't get your hopes up on that one. Dark Moon Fair Roller Coaster. Update to Children's Week. We had the introduction of Micro Holidays. We had WoD Time Walking added. Please give us Legion, that would be lovely. New portal rooms were added. New crafting quest lines. Again, that would be lovely. Please give us a catch up on these legendary base items. Return of the Brawlers Guild. Yes, yes, please bring back, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Remastered Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin. And finally, the new PvP Brawl AI Comp Stomp. 8.25, on the other hand, was super light on new things. We literally had the updated models for Goblins of Worgen. We had Party Sync, great feature, don't get me wrong. And finally, we had a revamp to Recruit a Friend. Now, between those two, that should give you an idea of what we can kind of expect coming in 9.1. I do think we're going to see a much larger list than we normally would from a mini patch, simply because, again, I honestly think a lot was missing from 9.1. Because of the changes in working at Blizzard, they just simply couldn't deliver everything. You know, with the grand pandemic that's been going on, yeah, a lot ended up being cut. Blizzard have never said this, but just, if you spend any amount of time playing 9.1, you know it feels light. It feels like it's got the big things, but just so much of the filler stuff, the stuff that keeps us busy outside of the main, this is the storyline, this is your dungeons, this is X, Y, and Z. The other stuff that fills that gap. If you look at what 9.1 has given us against even BFA's 8.1 and 8.2, we got a lot of the big stuff. We got a lot of the two BFA patches combined. We gained a new zone in Korthia. That didn't come until 8.2, when we got Nadjatar and Mechagon. We gained flying, again something we didn't get until 8.2 in BFA. Faction assaults came in 8.1. Similar to our Covenant assaults in the Maw. Of course, the continuation of the campaign. Plus, we gained the improved Torghast. And finally, we gained a Mega Dungeon in Tazavesh. Again, something that didn't come until 8.2. But as you can see from that list, that just backs up our theory that it was the big stuff that they were able to get done, and not the little things. The little things, like, for those that enjoy pet battles, 8.1 added the Nomagon Dungeon. We had the Heritage Armor for Dwarves and Blood Elves added. Yep, that was a major patch feature. Warfronts were added, and yes, granted, they weren't as good as they could have been, but they were something for alts to do, so you could get them geared. Especially when Heroic was added in 8.2. We also had Pathfinder to complete, so that we were ready for when flying became available. We had all of our reps done and so on. We'd explored everywhere. This time it was just something we simply gained from doing our Covenant story. Now, love it or hate it, that simply means that far less work was required. And also, while we're on the subject of love and hate, Nadjatar and Mechagon, whether you liked them more than Korthia or hate them compared to Korthia, there was more content. Their combined size was far larger than Korthia. Now, don't get me wrong, for a semi-sandbox zone that really is designed just to kill rares, I really like the size of Korthia. It means you can see a rare pop up and you can generally get there before it's been killed. That's exactly what I want. That's perfect. But that's enough of what has gone before. Let's get into what we expect or what we hope to see, and then we'll get on to what we know is coming. Now, in the interest of time, this video is already going to go on long enough. Let's jog on things like the Conduit Energy, Double Legos, Ashen Hollow, or even the existence of Druids. Instead, we're going to jump straight ahead of that list, and we are going to start with some polish, please, for the Shard system and Domination gear would be great. They've been tweaking this as time's gone on, but maybe give us a vendor, allowing us to purchase for Valor or Conquest our shards, so we can pick what we want. We can spend our Valor, spend our Conquest. If you're raiding, you're already going to get them. But you're potentially going to be doing M+ on the side or PvP on the side. So you can fill those gaps with Valor or Conquest. If you just do M+, you have Valor, and if you just do PvP, you can have your Conquest. That'd be great. Make it similar to Corruption, where I can just go up to a vendor and just buy these things without without the random rotation load. That was a pain with Corruption. I don't have a huge issue with the Shard system on its own. It just kind of seems like an Azerite gear with one slot that I can put whatever the power is I choose out of the list. The list just isn't built into the item. Okay, yeah. It's not quite Azerite, it's not quite tier set, but it's something. So, but let's make it a little bit more user-friendly, shall we? And next up, we have bringing back side activities. Now, granted, this is a little spoiler for things to come, so I'll try not to say too much. But why not bring back things like the Mage Tower, the Brawlers Guild? Now, the Mage Tower, I would probably say I'd love to see back in like 9.2.5. Give them a little bit of time. It's not fair for those that gained all the skins in Legion to lose that prestige. Lock those, they're done and dusted. But could we have the Mage Tower back where the appearances are seasonal? Something like that? So that we could have, maybe give them time to create new appearances that, hell, even if they're just recolors but you base it around Shadowlands. I'm thinking of like, maybe you get a black smoky werebear now. But at least, for now, at least in 9.1.5, give us back maybe the Brawlers Guild? Maybe, and this is a crazy thought, fill it with brawlers that we've defeated in the past who would have been condemned to Shadowlands. They come back, maybe with a light-hearted Ghostbusters-style questline where we have to find out why they're all haunting the spirits of our arena and we need to get rid of them somehow. But I think the biggest one, the one that's probably top of my list, has got to be making life a little more alt-friendly. This was touted as the expansion for alts, and it really doesn't feel like that. I spoke before about Warfronts. They were bad. No doubt about that. They could have been so much more. But at least there was something I could go and do in alts. Maybe get a little bit of gear. The frustration comes when, if you want to play your alts now, leveling realistically is half the battle. It doesn't matter if I choose to quest my way up, or if I'm going to do Twists of Fates. I know that the real grind is going to start at 60. I'm having to catch up, maybe as much as 80 renown levels. It would be great to have a number of different ways to gain that renown. I mean guaranteed ways. Not only once you hit 60, but also while you're leveling, maybe? Say you pick Fates, and you pick your Covenant, why can't each zone give you 10 renown? Just through the leveling process. That would mean that when you've done all your leveling, you've gone to all the zones, boom, that's your first 40 renown levels done. Or, crazy, let's pick a classic from the past where we gained reputation with tabards. Why not have renowned via tabard? Ah, Moorwalker, you have joined our covenant. Now wear this tabard with pride, and all your acts will reflect upon our glory. This means everything you do gains renown. Guaranteed renown. Every world quest, every Torgi run, every dungeon, every PvP battle, every raid boss, hell, why not even every pet battle? So when finally the player hits renown 40, and they get the Welcome to Korthia questline, or you decide to do the skip, the game says, hey, all those storylines that you didn't do in the 1 to 40 renowned, Covenant campaign, don't worry, they're now considered done. Tick the box, you are good to go forward. Because realistically, I don't want to repeat stories I've already done. Don't get me wrong, they were great stories, but when on one server I have 50 characters, I don't want to go through the same 4 storylines over and over again. That's what was so good about the Legion Order Halls. I had different stories that were long and meandering, and they were really interesting, and they would show me the other side of how other stories had gone. It was great. Simply giving me the same 4 stories over and over again is not that enjoyable. I'm not saying the stories weren't good, but when I've seen it for the 6th time because, hey, I've got to keep putting my DPS in the Night Fae, yeah, it's not as fun as you'd think. Or, if you don't want to go the Tabard route, just simply give us a skip for the story parts. Let us go, hey Draka, I've kind of heard this before, and you're done. You can just skip to the next bit of your story. Alts used to be a major part of spending time in WoW. You'd make sure you'd done everything you needed to do on your main. You made sure you had absolutely everything sorted. You had your box done. You'd had whatever it is you wanted to get done in the game. You made sure that was done on your main. But then you could go and have some fun on alts. You could farm mounts. You could go and get their transmog sorted. You could do whatever it is you want to do. Just bimble about with just carefree attitude that it doesn't matter what you do on this character. Your main is sorted. This one is just to have some fun with. But that is enough of the maybes. Let's talk what we actually know. And speaking of alts, oh my friends, we have some good news. Blizzard has listened to the feedback. And I've gone back on there will be no more customization for the rest of Shadowlands. And that is brilliant news for all those Lightforged Draenei and the Nightborne out there. Not only that, we also have ear size changes for the Void Elves and natural hair colours. We have new travel forms for Druid, with stags for Tauren, Trolls, Night Elves and Worgen, Dras stags for, well, you guessed it, the Cull Tauren, easy for me to say, and the Moose for the High Mountain, Dinosaurs for the Zandalari, all pretty standard at this point, but you can also gain the Mark of the Cheetah, also the Mark of the Doe, which will change your travel appearance. Just like all the other forms now, you can change this in the barber's shop. We also have, deep breaths, new Night Fae appearances. Yes, for your soul shapes, we have the Shovel Tusk, the Kodo Soul. All of my Taurens are having that. It's just done. All my Taurens need that. And finally, the Mammoth Soul, which actually looks really, really good. I say finally, but that isn't 100% true, because the Night Fae has one more surprise for its members. You will now also gain the Critter Shape ability. Yeah, bear with me on this one. This will enable you to turn into a critter. Yeah, you ever wanted to become a tiny squirrel? Well, Nan, you can, my friend. It is worth noting, though, that this will only be usable in rested areas, because if you turn into a tiny, tiny, tiny critter, yeah, that opens up all kinds of exploits, especially in M+. But back to our Lightforged Draenei and Nightborne brothers and sisters. Now, I don't play Lightforged, but looking at these images, I will say those horns look a little bit different. See the one on the far left? That image, those horns look cool. I don't know if it's a new style or whether it's a new combo, whether the horns are now separate from the hairstyle. I don't know what it is, but I like it. It's a shame we can only see the back. Hopefully that means they've got good stuff hidden around the front, so to speak. As for the Nightborne, we have something few thought Blizzard would deliver. A change to the eyes. I know this doesn't sound much. This does not sound like much to most people. But the Nightborne players, this is a pretty huge deal. And it's very, very encouraging to see. Plus, all the extra flashy options, that perfectly suits the Nightborne. I know one gentleman in my guild that is going to have, yeah, a lot of fun customizing his new Nightborne warrior. I'm most definitely looking forward to see more. And I think in Blue Post, they also said they're currently working on High Mountain Tauren as well. I don't know whether they'll be in 9.15 or whether that's going to be something we'll see in 9.25. But simply put, customization is a massive part of an RPG. And whereas, yeah, the orcs, the trolls, the humans, the dwarves have some amazing options right now. A lot of the allied races, and to be fair, a couple of the OG races, feel really lacking. So it's really good to see them actually go back and put some more love into them. This is a big win for both the community and Blizzard. The community spoke up constructively. They said, hey, we'd really love to see more customization options. And Blizzard have replied. They've said, hey, we hear you. We've gone back on what we said before, and this is what we've done. That is huge. But speaking of things the players asked for, islands are back, baby. Yes. Players hated islands when they were something we had to do. Now we don't have to do them. We never wanted to go back so much. For some reason, we just can't get enough of them. The people have been desperate to head back in. So much so that people have been like, please, Blizzard, add solo queue. Well, Blizzard have heard you, and in all fairness, they've, in my opinion, gone one better. They are making islands flex. Yeah, so now it means that you can go in solo or with up to 3 of you. That is a fantastic change and way better than just simply a solo queue. I know 2 guildies that have been desperate to do islands for the longest time. But the thing is now, with 915, it won't matter. Hey, there's 1 of you, that's all good. Go solo queue. There's 2 of you, that's fine. That's all good as well. Now you can gain all those transmog mounts and pets you've ever wanted to get. And even better, that we've now had blue posts that give us a little bit of news about what's happening. This is great, and please do not stop it, Blizzard. Do not stop giving us this feedback. It shows that Blizzard is hearing constructive feedback and where they can, acting upon it. And I'm going to say, I don't think it's any coincidence that this feedback from Blizzard saying that they've heard the voice of the community comes when the most toxic elements of this community are, funnily enough, off playing other games. Long may this continue. I look forward to seeing what else is to come in 915. But I think I've gone on definitely long enough by now. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Ladies, everyone.